Close your eyes for just a moment. Imagine that everything you know, the towering skyscrapers, speeding cars, glowing screens, and endless noise, simply disappears. When you open your eyes again, you are standing somewhere completely different. The air is warm against your skin. The scent of fresh clay, cedar wood, and distant incense drifts gently through the morning breeze. Ahead of you rises a city unlike anything you have ever seen. Its enormous walls stretch farther than your eyes can follow. Brilliant blue gates shimmer beneath the first golden light of dawn, decorated with magnificent lions, dragons, and mighty bulls. Beyond them lies one of the greatest cities the ancient world would ever know. Welcome to Babylon. Today, you are not reading about history. You are living it. For the next day, every street you walk, every voice you hear, every temple you enter, and every person you meet will reveal the beating heart of an empire that once amazed the entire world. A city where kings dreamed of eternity, where merchants crossed deserts carrying treasures from distant lands, where priests believed the gods themselves watched every sunrise, and where ordinary families lived lives surprisingly familiar to our own. Take a slow breath. The sun is only beginning to rise. Your journey has just begun. It is the 6th century BC. The reign of King Nebuchadnezzar II has transformed Babylon into the jewel of Mesopotamia. The mighty Euphrates River flows calmly through the city, carrying boats filled with grain, timber, dates, stone, and precious goods from lands hundreds of miles away. Long before the world spoke of Rome or medieval castles, Babylon stood as one of humanity's greatest achievements. Its walls seem almost impossible. Some travelers swear that chariots can race across their tops. Whether that is true or not hardly matters. Standing before them now, you feel incredibly small. Thousands of workers spent decades shaping every brick with their own hands. Every stone tells a story. Every road remembers countless footsteps. Every sunrise begins another chapter in the life of this remarkable city. The eastern horizon slowly brightens. Dark blue fades into soft purple. Purple melts into glowing orange. Golden sunlight gently touches the highest towers first before spilling across rooftops and narrow streets below. The city stretches awake. Somewhere in the distance, a rooster calls. Another answers. A donkey brays impatiently. Wooden doors begin opening one after another. Families emerge into the cool morning air before the heat of the day arrives. A woman sweeps yesterday's dust from her doorway. A father quietly adjusts the leather straps on a donkey preparing for market. Children rub sleep from their eyes while chasing one another through small courtyards. An elderly man sits outside his home, smiling peacefully as he watches another sunrise. He has seen thousands of mornings, yet he still pauses to admire this one. You find yourself smiling too. Some things never change. Morning has always belonged to hope. As you begin walking toward the city, the sounds slowly grow louder. You hear distant conversations carried by the breeze. Potters shape wet clay on spinning wheels. Blacksmiths prepare their furnaces. Bakers feed fresh wood into glowing ovens. Soon, the smell reaches you. Fresh bread. Warm. Simple. Comforting. For just a second, it reminds you of home. Although more than 2,500 years separate your worlds, that familiar scent quietly bridges the impossible distance. History suddenly feels less distant. These people were not myths. They laughed. They worried. They worked. They loved their families. And just like you, they greeted each new morning with hopes they could not yet see. Ahead, the first rays of sunlight strike the magnificent Ishtar Gate. The blue glazed bricks almost seem alive. Every surface glows brilliantly beneath the rising sun. Golden lions march proudly across its walls. Dragons stretch their elegant bodies between rows of sacred symbols. Powerful bulls stand watch as silent guardians. This is more than an entrance. It is a declaration. Anyone who passes beneath these towering arches immediately understands the message Babylon wishes to send. Strength, prosperity, order, divine protection. Travelers from distant kingdoms often stop here in complete silence. Some have crossed scorching deserts for months. Others have sailed dangerous rivers. Many have heard stories about Babylon all their lives, yet nothing prepared them for seeing it with their own eyes. Now you understand exactly how they felt. The gate towers above you like a mountain built by human hands. For a moment, words simply disappear. Only wonder remains. A gentle breeze flows through the entrance. It almost feels like the city itself is inviting you inside. You take your first step, then another. With every footstep, the outside world quietly slips away behind you. Ahead lies a place filled with stories waiting to unfold. Merchants, priests, soldiers, artists, children, kings. Each one will become part of your journey before this remarkable day comes to an end. The adventure has only just begun, and Babylon is ready to reveal its secrets. You pass beneath the towering arch of the Ishtar Gate, and for a brief moment, the world grows quiet. The cool shade of the massive gateway surrounds you. Above your head, thousands of deep blue glazed bricks reflect the morning light like pieces of polished sapphire. Every brick has been carefully placed by skilled hands. Every lion, every dragon, every mighty bull has a purpose. These are not simply decorations. They are symbols of protection, strength, and the gods who watch over Babylon. You cannot help but look up. The gate is so immense that it makes every traveler feel small. Perhaps that is exactly what its builders intended. As you emerge from the shadow, the city suddenly unfolds before you. Your breath catches. A wide avenue stretches toward the heart of Babylon. This is the royal processional way. It is unlike any road you have ever seen. Smooth stone slabs lie beneath your feet. High walls rise on either side. Rows of beautifully crafted lions seem to walk beside you, each one frozen in mid-stride, guarding the sacred path with eternal confidence. The morning sun paints long golden shadows across the street. The city is fully awake now. People move in every direction, each carrying the purpose of a new day. A farmer guides 2 stubborn donkeys loaded with baskets of barley. A fisherman balances woven nets across his shoulders as he heads toward the Euphrates. Young apprentices hurry after their masters, arms full of tools they are still learning to use. No one seems rushed, yet no one is idle. Everything moves with quiet rhythm. It feels less like chaos and more like a carefully practiced dance. You step aside as a group of soldiers marches past. Bronze helmets flash beneath the sunlight. Their spears rise together like a forest of polished wood and shining metal. Not a single step is out of place. Their discipline speaks louder than any words. People respectfully move aside, but there is no fear on their faces. These soldiers are not here to intimidate the city's own people. They are guardians of one of the greatest capitals on earth. As they disappear into the distance, ordinary life immediately resumes. A little boy, no older than 7, chases a stray puppy across the road. His laughter echoes between the stone walls. The puppy escapes. The boy laughs even harder. His mother shakes her head, trying not to smile. You find yourself smiling too. History books often remember kings, but cities are truly remembered by moments like these. The laughter of children, the smell of fresh bread, neighbors greeting one another at sunrise. That is what makes a civilization feel alive. Ahead, a baker removes flat loaves from a clay oven. Steam rises into the cool morning air. The smell is irresistible. He notices you watching. Without saying a word, he tears off a warm piece and offers it with a welcoming smile. There is no grand ceremony, just a simple act of kindness between strangers. You accept it. The bread is warm in your hands, soft inside, slightly crisp on the outside. Simple ingredients, simple comfort. For a moment, you forget that more than 25 centuries separate your lives. Good food has always spoken the same language. Nearby, merchants begin arranging their stalls. Colorful woven fabrics sway gently in the breeze. Neatly stacked dates glisten in the sunlight. Large clay jars filled with fragrant oils stand beside baskets overflowing with figs, onions, lentils, garlic, and herbs. One trader carefully unwraps tiny pieces of lapis lazuli brought from distant mountains. Another proudly displays ivory carvings that have traveled hundreds of miles by caravan. Every object has crossed deserts, rivers, mountains, and countless borders before arriving here. Babylon is more than a city. It is where the ancient world comes together. You hear voices speaking different languages. Some merchants bargain loudly. Others quietly calculate prices using small clay tablets. A traveler dressed in unfamiliar clothing studies a map scratched into damp clay. Another unloads spices whose rich aroma fills the entire street. Cinnamon, frankincense, myrrh. Their scents drift together, creating an atmosphere unlike anywhere else. Every step reveals another surprise. Every face carries another story. Above the rooftops, temple towers rise toward the brightening sky. Their upper walls glow beneath the morning sun. Thin streams of smoke rise from sacred altars. Somewhere in the distance, priests begin chanting the day's first prayers. The sound is soft, almost hypnotic. For a moment, The busy streets seem to pause. Even merchants lower their voices. Babylon never forgets its gods. No matter how busy life becomes, faith remains woven into every hour of the day. As you continue walking, your eyes are drawn towards something even larger beyond the crowded avenue. Its walls stretch across the horizon, decorated with brilliant colors and towering columns. Guards stand at every entrance. Servants move quickly between enormous wooden doors. This is no ordinary building. This is the palace of King Nebuchadnezzar II, the ruler whose vision transformed Babylon into the wonder now unfolding before your eyes. From where you stand, you can only glimpse its grandeur. But even from a distance, it commands respect. You wonder what life is like beyond those walls. How does a king begin his morning? What decisions shape the destiny of an empire? You will soon discover the answers. For now, the city continues to welcome you deeper into its heart. The streets grow wider, the crowds become thicker, and somewhere ahead, the greatest marketplace in Babylon is coming to life. As you leave the royal processional way behind, the sounds of the city begin to blend into something richer, louder, and wonderfully alive. The streets narrow for a moment before suddenly opening into a vast marketplace. You stop without realizing it. The sight before you is overwhelming. Hundreds of merchants have already gathered beneath simple woven canopies that flutter gently in the warm morning breeze. Every direction offers something new to discover. Baskets overflow with golden dates, ripe figs, almonds, pistachios, and pomegranates that glow like polished jewels beneath the sunlight. Large clay jars hold fragrant olive oil, honey, and sweet wine. Bundles of herbs hang from wooden poles, filling the air with the fresh scent of mint, coriander, and thyme. Nearby, fresh bread continues to emerge from glowing clay ovens. The comforting aroma drifts through the market, mixing with spices brought from lands you have only heard whispered about. Cinnamon, frankincense, myrrh, black cumin. The air itself feels alive. You realize that Babylon is not simply a city. It is the meeting place of civilizations. A merchant wearing colorful robes greets a customer from Egypt. Nearby, another trader speaks with travelers who have crossed the mountains from Anatolia. Further ahead, camels kneel patiently beside men who have spent weeks crossing deserts from Arabia. Every accent sounds different. Every face tells a different story. Yet here, inside Babylon, they all become part of the same morning. A caravan slowly enters the marketplace. The camels are covered with dust from a long journey. Their drivers look exhausted. But as soon as they pass through the gates, smiles replace weary expressions. They have arrived safely. Their goods will soon find eager buyers. Children gather around the animals, staring with wide eyes. One little girl reaches out carefully to touch a camel's soft nose. The animal snorts gently, making her burst into laughter. Soon, several other children join her. For a few joyful moments, business gives way to simple happiness. Even the merchants cannot help smiling. You continue walking between the crowded stalls. A skilled potter sits quietly behind a spinning wheel. His hands move with remarkable confidence. A shapeless lump of wet clay slowly rises beneath his fingers. Within moments, it becomes a perfectly balanced water jar. There is no hesitation, only years of practice. You watch in silence, amazed that something so ordinary can feel so beautiful. Not far away, a bronze smith carefully shapes a glowing piece of metal with steady blows from his hammer. Each strike rings through the marketplace like a heartbeat. Sparks dance into the air before disappearing. His young apprentice watches every movement closely, hoping one day his own hands will become just as skilled. Knowledge here is not written only on clay tablets. It is passed from one generation to the next, one careful lesson at a time. Ahead, a woman sits beneath a woven awning creating colorful textiles. Bright blue threads cross golden ones. Deep red patterns slowly emerge across the fabric. Her daughter sits beside her, carefully copying every movement. Neither speaks very much. They do not need to. Their hands understand each other perfectly. You realize that Babylon is filled with quiet teachers, parents teaching children, masters teaching apprentices, life itself teaching patience. A cheerful voice suddenly catches your attention. An elderly storyteller has gathered a small crowd beneath the shade of a date palm. Children sit cross-legged in front of him. Adults pause for just a few moments before continuing their work. The old man's hands move dramatically as he tells tales of mighty kings, clever heroes, mysterious spirits, and the great gods who shaped the world. His audience already knows many of the stories, yet they listen as though hearing them for the very first time. Some stories are never meant to grow old. They are meant to be shared, again and again, generation after generation. You smile as you continue onward. For a moment, you forget that you are visiting the ancient world. The laughter, the conversations, the curiosity of children, the pride of skilled workers, the warmth between families. None of it feels ancient. It feels deeply human. As the sun climbs higher into the sky, the marketplace grows even busier. Coins exchange hands. Barrels are unloaded. Animals pull heavy carts through crowded streets. Scribes carefully record transactions onto fresh clay tablets, making sure every agreement is remembered. Trust is important, but written records are even more valuable. In a city as great as Babylon, every trade matters. Suddenly, the sound of a distant horn echoes across the marketplace. People briefly pause. Several merchants bow their heads. Others step respectfully aside. A small royal procession moves along the far side of the square. Royal officials pass beneath brightly colored banners carried by attendants. The crowd watches quietly. No one shouts. No one rushes forward. Respect fills the air more than excitement. Within moments, the procession disappears beyond the nearby palace walls, and life continues exactly where it left off. That, perhaps, is the greatest surprise. Even in the shadow of kings, ordinary life remains the true heartbeat of Babylon. As you leave the marketplace behind, the streets become calmer once again. Ahead, elegant homes stand behind high mud brick walls. The sounds of merchants slowly fade. Instead, you hear the gentle splash of water from hidden courtyards. Somewhere nearby, a mother softly sings while preparing the midday meal. A father repairs a wooden chair beneath the shade of a fig tree. Children chase one another through narrow passages, their laughter floating above the rooftops. For the first time since entering Babylon, you are about to step away from its grand monuments and busy streets, and into the place where its true soul lives, the home of an ordinary Babylonian family. The heavy wooden door opens with a quiet creak, and you step into a peaceful courtyard hidden from the busy streets outside. The noise of the marketplace disappears almost instantly. It is replaced by the gentle sound of flowing water. In the center of the courtyard, a small stone basin catches water from a simple clay spout. Birds perch along its edge, taking quick drinks before fluttering away into the clear blue sky. For the first time since entering Babylon, everything feels calm. This is the heart of the home. The rooms are built around the open courtyard, protecting the family from the heat of the day. Thick mud brick walls keep the inside surprisingly cool, while woven reed mats hang over doorways to soften the sunlight. A woman kneels beside a flat grinding stone, slowly turning grain into fine flour. Her movements are steady and practiced. She has repeated this simple task thousands of times, yet she works with quiet patience rather than hurry. Nearby, fresh dough rests beneath a linen cloth. Soon it will become warm bread for the family. The comforting smell fills the courtyard. An elderly grandmother carefully sorts dates into small woven baskets. Every so often, she smiles as two young children race past her in pursuit of a handmade ball stitched from scraps of leather. Their laughter echoes through the house. The grandmother pretends not to notice as one child nearly bumps into her. At the last second, he changes direction, giggling as she playfully shakes a finger in his direction. Some things truly never change. Children have always filled homes with noise, energy, and joy. A man enters through the courtyard carrying a bundle of reeds across his shoulder. The morning's work is already finished. He sets the bundle down before greeting every member of his family, beginning with the oldest. Respect here is not demanded. It is simply part of daily life. The youngest child runs into his arms without hesitation. The man lifts him high into the air. The boy laughs so loudly that even the neighbors can probably hear him. For a brief moment, there are no kings, no merchants, no great monuments. Only a father enjoying the happiest part of his day. You watch quietly, realizing that history often remembers rulers. But families are what truly keep civilizations alive. Inside one of the rooms, shelves built into the walls hold carefully crafted clay bowls, copper cups, woven baskets, and small oil lamps. Everything has its place. Nothing is wasted. A wooden chest contains the family's most valuable possessions. Carefully folded clothing, a few pieces of jewelry, and several clay tablets recording agreements made over many years. These objects may seem ordinary, yet to this family, they represent security, memory, and hope for the future. The mother gently lights an oil lamp, although daylight still fills the courtyard. Its soft flame burns before a small household shrine. She quietly whispers a prayer, asking the gods to bless her children, protect her husband, and keep sickness far from their home. The prayer lasts only a few moments. No one interrupts. Faith is woven naturally into daily life, as ordinary as preparing bread or drawing water. Soon, the midday meal is ready. Everyone gathers together. Fresh bread is placed in the center beside bowls of lentils, onions, cucumbers, goat cheese, olives, dates, and fragrant herbs. There are no elaborate ceremonies, only grateful conversation. The youngest child reaches eagerly for another piece of bread. His older sister gently laughs and tears her own piece in half before handing it to him. Their grandmother watches with quiet pride. Kindness, she knows, is learned through simple moments like these. As you sit among them, you realize something unexpected. Although thousands of years separate your lives, the feelings around this table are instantly familiar. The comfort of sharing a meal, the warmth of family, the quiet happiness of belonging. Across every century, these moments remain the same. Outside, the streets continue their endless rhythm. Merchants bargain, soldiers patrol, priests offer prayers. But inside this modest home, time seems to slow. The afternoon sun climbs higher overhead, casting shifting patterns of light across the courtyard walls. Soon the family will return to their work. The children will continue their games. The father will head back into the city. Life will move forward, just as it always has. You thank them with a grateful smile before stepping back through the wooden doorway. As the door gently closes behind you, the sounds of family life fade into the distance. Ahead, rising above every rooftop in Babylon, stands a massive step tower that seems to touch the heavens themselves. Smoke rises gently from its sacred summit. Priests in white robes slowly climb its broad stairways. Every eye in the city seems to turn toward it with quiet reverence. Your next destination is the spiritual heart of Babylon, the great temple of Marduk. The closer you walk toward the great temple, the quieter the city seems to become. The lively conversations of merchants fade behind you. The laughter of children grows distant. Even the footsteps around you become slower, more respectful, as though everyone instinctively understands they are approaching sacred ground. Above the rooftops, the enormous ziggurat dominates the skyline. Its massive terraces rise layer upon layer toward the brilliant blue sky, each level appearing closer to the heavens than the last. From every corner of Babylon, people can see it. It is more than a building. It is a symbol that reminds every citizen their city stands beneath the watchful eyes of the gods. As you arrive at the temple complex, the scent of burning cedar and sweet incense fills the warm afternoon air. White-robed priests move gracefully through wide courtyards, their expressions calm and focused. Some quietly carry baskets filled with fruit, bread, flowers, and fragrant oils. Others tend small sacred fires whose thin columns of smoke drift gently upward, disappearing into the endless sky. No one raises their voice here. The silence itself feels meaningful. People enter one by one, bowing their heads before crossing the great stone threshold. You follow them. Inside, the sunlight softens. Tall columns cast long shadows across polished stone floors. Beautiful carvings cover the walls, telling stories of creation, mighty kings, great floods, and the gods who shaped the destiny of mankind. Each image is carefully crafted. Each symbol carries meaning that generations have understood. An elderly priest notices your curiosity. Without speaking, he smiles warmly and gestures toward the towering ziggurat outside. You slowly begin climbing its broad staircase. Each step demands a little more effort than the last. The afternoon sun beats gently upon the ancient bricks, yet no one complains. Pilgrims of every age continue climbing with quiet determination. Some whisper prayers beneath their breath. Others simply walk in thoughtful silence. About halfway up, you pause to catch your breath. Turning around, you look across Babylon. The sight steals the words from your lips. The Euphrates River glitters like a ribbon of silver as it winds through the magnificent city. The blue Ishtar Gate now appears small in the distance. The royal processional way stretches proudly through neighborhoods alive with movement. Smoke rises peacefully from countless homes. Boats drift along the river. Marketplaces buzz with life. From above, Babylon feels less like a city and more like a living masterpiece. You realize something profound. Every brick below was placed by human hands. Every canal was dug by people who dreamed of building something greater than themselves. This city exists because countless ordinary lives came together with extraordinary purpose. History often remembers the kings. But standing here, you cannot help thinking about the workers whose names have long been forgotten. The brickmakers, the builders, the potters, the farmers, the mothers, the children. Without them, Babylon would never have existed. A soft breeze passes across the upper terrace. For a moment, the intense heat of the afternoon disappears. The wind carries the faint sound of temple bells and distant prayers rising from below. It almost feels as though heaven itself has leaned a little closer. Near the summit, priests prepare offerings before a beautifully decorated altar. Fresh bread, dates, fine wine, sweet-smelling oils. These gifts are offered with gratitude rather than fear. The people believe that honoring the gods helps preserve harmony between heaven and earth. Whether you share their beliefs or not, you cannot ignore the sincerity in their faces. Faith gives them comfort. It gives them hope. It gives meaning to the uncertainties of life. One young boy stands beside his father, carefully copying every movement of the prayer. His hands tremble slightly. He is nervous. His father notices, gently placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. The boy smiles. Together, they finish the prayer. The simple moment quietly reminds you that traditions survive because they are shared with love, not simply remembered. The afternoon light begins to soften. Golden rays spread across the terraces of the ziggurat, making every ancient brick glow with warmth. Birds circle lazily above the temple before disappearing toward the river. The city below continues its endless rhythm. Life never stops. Yet from this sacred height, everything feels peaceful. You remain there for a few quiet moments, allowing yourself to simply breathe, to listen, to appreciate. Perhaps this is why people have climbed these steps for generations. Not only to pray, but to remember how small one life is within the story of a great civilization. As you begin your descent, another magnificent structure catches your eye beyond the temple walls. Its towering gates shimmer beneath the afternoon sun. Soldiers stand proudly at attention. Royal banners dance gently in the breeze. Servants hurry through enormous courtyards carrying scrolls, baskets, and finely crafted treasures. This is the palace of King Nebuchadnezzar II, the place where decisions are made that shape the destiny of Babylon itself. Your journey is about to take you beyond those guarded walls, into the heart of royal power. As you leave the sacred temple behind, the atmosphere changes once again. The quiet reverence of prayer gives way to the steady rhythm of royal life. The palace of King Nebuchadnezzar II rises before you, its towering walls gleaming beneath the afternoon sun. Built from millions of carefully shaped mud bricks and decorated with vibrant glazed tiles, it stands as a symbol of the empire's wealth and ambition. Two royal guards stand motionless beside the enormous cedar gates. Bronze helmets shine in the sunlight. Long spears rest firmly in their hands. Their expressions reveal nothing. For a moment, you wonder how many travelers have stood exactly where you are now, hoping to catch even the smallest glimpse of the king's world. The heavy gates slowly open. Inside, a vast courtyard unfolds before you. The sound of the city fades into the distance. Servants move with quiet purpose, carrying baskets of fresh fruit, rolled carpets, jars of scented oil, and finely woven fabrics. No one wastes a single step. Every movement is part of a carefully organized rhythm. The palace is alive. Messengers hurry across the courtyard with sealed clay tablets tucked beneath their arms. Each tablet carries news from distant provinces, reports of harvests, trade caravans, construction projects, and the borders of the empire. Information travels slowly in this age, yet every message is treated as precious. In one shaded corridor, a group of scribes sits cross-legged beside low wooden tables. Their styluses move quickly across damp clay. Each tiny wedge-shaped mark becomes part of a permanent record. Taxes, laws, trade agreements, royal commands. Centuries from now, many of these tablets will still survive, quietly preserving the voices of people long gone. You pause to watch a young apprentice. His hands tremble slightly as he presses his stylus into the soft clay. His teacher gently corrects the angle of his hand. The boy nods and tries again. This time, the symbols are cleaner, more confident. A faint smile appears on the teacher's face. Some victories are small, yet they shape the future. As you continue deeper into the palace, beautifully painted walls surround you. Scenes of victorious armies, peaceful gardens, mighty lions, and sacred ceremonies stretch across the halls. They are meant to inspire, to remind every visitor that Babylon is powerful, prosperous, and blessed by the gods. Sunlight pours through open courtyards where fountains shimmer softly. Palm trees sway in the warm breeze. Colorful flowers bloom in carefully tended gardens. The air carries the fragrance of jasmine and cedar. For a moment, the palace feels less like a fortress and more like an oasis. In the distance, a group of royal musicians rehearses for an evening celebration. The gentle sound of lyres blends with the deeper notes of drums and the soft melody of reed flutes. The music drifts through the palace, giving life to its grand stone halls. Nearby, skilled artisans carve delicate patterns into ivory and polish pieces of gold destined for royal gifts. Every object reflects remarkable craftsmanship. Nothing here is ordinary. Every detail speaks of patience, precision, and pride. You step onto a high balcony overlooking the city. From here, Babylon stretches endlessly toward the horizon. The Euphrates River sparkles in the afternoon light. Boats glide peacefully across its surface. The blue Ishtar Gate stands proudly in the distance. Beyond the city walls, endless fields of barley sway gently beneath the wind, reminding you that even the greatest empire depends upon the quiet work of farmers. Power may live inside these palace walls, but life begins far beyond them. A sudden movement below catches your attention. A royal chariot rolls into the courtyard. The horses are magnificent, their coats shining like polished bronze. Servants quickly gather. Officials bow respectfully. Although the king himself remains out of sight, his presence can be felt everywhere. His vision transformed Babylon into one of the greatest cities the ancient world had ever seen. Yet standing here, you realize something unexpected. Even kings cannot build empires alone. Behind every royal command stand thousands of builders, craftsmen, soldiers, farmers, scribes, and families whose daily work keeps the kingdom alive. Their names may never be carved into monuments, but without them, no monument would ever have existed. The afternoon shadows begin to grow longer. The heat slowly softens. Across the palace, servants begin preparing for the evening. Oil lamps are carefully filled. Fresh flowers are arranged. Long dining tables are decorated for honored guests. Beyond the palace walls, the city is changing once again. The busy hours of work are giving way to the peaceful beauty of sunset. You take one last look across the magnificent capital before quietly leaving the royal grounds. Ahead, the golden light of late afternoon spills across the canals and gardens of Babylon. The city's most peaceful hour is about to begin. Warmth of the afternoon slowly gives way to the gentle embrace of evening. As you leave the palace behind, the streets become quieter, and the golden light of the setting sun transforms Babylon into something almost magical. Every mud brick wall glows with a rich amber color. Long shadows stretch across the stone roads. The heat that filled the city only an hour ago begins to fade, replaced by a cool breeze drifting from the Euphrates River. You follow one of the narrow canals that branches away from the river. Clear water flows steadily through carefully engineered channels, nourishing gardens, orchards, and fields throughout the city. Without these canals, Babylon could never have become the flourishing heart of Mesopotamia. Here, water is more than a resource. It is life itself. A farmer stands knee-deep beside the canal, adjusting a small wooden gate that directs water toward his barley field. His son watches closely, learning every movement. One day, these fields will become his responsibility. The father says very little. He simply demonstrates. The boy observes with complete attention. Some of life's greatest lessons are taught without words. Beyond the fields, rows of towering date palms sway gently in the evening breeze. Women gather ripe dates into woven baskets while exchanging quiet stories about the day's events. Occasionally, laughter rises above the rustling leaves. Nearby, goats wander lazily between patches of grass, their bells producing soft, rhythmic chimes that blend perfectly with the peaceful surroundings. You continue walking until you reach a shaded garden unlike any you have seen before. Tall trees offer shelter from the fading sunlight. Flowering vines climb stone walls. Birds dart between branches, singing their final songs before nightfall. Whether this garden is part of the legendary Hanging Gardens or simply one of Babylon's many beautiful green spaces hardly matters. Standing here, surrounded by color and fragrance, you understand why visitors spoke of Babylon with such admiration. Nature and human craftsmanship exist together in perfect harmony. A gentle breeze carries the scent of jasmine, cedar, and damp earth. You close your eyes for just a moment. The sounds of the city become distant. Water trickles quietly through stone channels, leaves whisper overhead. Somewhere nearby, a flute begins to play. Its melody is slow, peaceful and filled with longing. You follow the music until you discover an elderly musician sitting beneath a palm tree. His instrument is simple, his clothing is plain, yet every note seems to carry a lifetime of memories. Several children sit nearby, listening without saying a word. Even the adults passing by slow their pace for a moment before continuing home. Music, you realize, needs no translation. It speaks directly to the heart. As the sun sinks lower, families begin returning from their work. Merchants close their stalls one by one. Potters cover their unfinished clay with damp cloth. Blacksmiths allow their glowing furnaces to cool. The busy energy that filled Babylon all day slowly melts into peaceful contentment. A mother waits patiently outside her home. The moment her husband appears at the end of the street, two young children race toward him with joyful laughter. He kneels to embrace them both. The exhaustion of the day disappears from his face. There are no words. None are needed. Love has always been understood without speaking. Across the neighborhood, oil lamps begin appearing inside windows and courtyards. One by one, tiny flames awaken throughout the city. Soon they resemble countless stars scattered across the earth. The fading sunlight paints the sky with deep shades of orange, crimson, and purple. The Euphrates reflects every color perfectly, as though the river itself wishes to hold onto the last light of day. You walk to the riverbank and quietly sit upon a smooth stone. Boats drift gently with the current as fishermen prepare their final nets before darkness arrives. Birds cross the glowing sky in graceful formations, returning to their nests. For several peaceful minutes, no one seems eager to leave. Everyone watches the sunset together, rich and poor, merchant and farmer, child and elder. For this brief moment, the beauty of the evening belongs equally to all. You find yourself doing the same. You think about everything you have witnessed today. The mighty walls, the bustling markets, the quiet homes, the sacred temples, the royal palace, the hardworking people whose lives quietly shaped one of history's greatest civilizations. Babylon is no longer just a name from an ancient book. It has become a place filled with real voices, real hopes, and real dreams. The final edge of the sun slips below the horizon. Twilight gently settles across the city, but Babylon is not yet asleep. As darkness slowly spreads over the land, another side of the great city begins to awaken. The glow of countless oil lamps brightens the streets. Music grows louder in the distance. The aroma of evening feasts fills the air. Tonight, the people of Babylon gather beneath the stars to celebrate life itself. And your journey is not over yet. As the last traces of daylight disappear, Babylon begins to shine in an entirely different way. The city's grand streets are no longer illuminated by the sun, but by hundreds of flickering oil lamps that cast a warm golden glow across the ancient walls. Their gentle light dances across the blue bricks of the Ishtar Gate, making the lions and dragons seem almost alive. The air has cooled. A pleasant breeze drifts along the Euphrates, carrying with it the scent of roasted lamb, fresh bread, sweet dates, and fragrant incense. The city feels relaxed now. The day's hard work is over. Families gather in courtyards, neighbors visit one another, and laughter once again fills the evening air. You follow the sound of music toward a lively public square. Musicians sit together beneath rows of hanging lamps. One plays a graceful melody on a lyre, while another answers with the deep rhythm of a hand drum. A reed flute joins them, its soft notes floating effortlessly into the night sky. People clap gently with the rhythm. Children begin dancing first, completely unconcerned with who is watching. Soon, even a few adults smile and join them. For a little while, everyone forgets the weight of tomorrow. An elderly woman notices a young girl standing shyly at the edge of the gathering. She reaches out her hand. The girl hesitates only for a second before accepting it. Together, they step into the circle, laughing as they move with the music. And, watching them, you realize that joy has always been contagious. It needs no invitation. Nearby, storytellers gather small crowds around glowing clay lamps. Their voices rise and fall dramatically as they tell tales of brave kings, clever merchants, fearless explorers, and ancient heroes blessed by the gods. Children listen with wide eyes. Some lean against their parents. Others fight to stay awake, determined not to miss the ending. The stories are old, very old, yet every generation hears them as if they were new. Perhaps that is the secret of every great civilization. Its stories never truly grow old. They simply find new listeners. The smell of supper drifts through the streets. Families sit together on woven mats spread across their courtyards. Bowls of lentils, roasted vegetables, fresh bread, cheese, olives, fish from the Euphrates, and sweet figs are shared from the center of the meal. No one eats in a hurry. Conversation matters just as much as the food. Parents ask their children about the day's adventures. Grandparents quietly add memories of their own youth. Laughter rises between every story. You are reminded once again that happiness is rarely found in grand palaces and circumflex. More often, it lives around an ordinary family table. The moon slowly climbs above Babylon. Its pale light reflects upon the river, turning the gentle current into a ribbon of silver. The city's noise begins to soften. One by one, market stalls stand empty. The last boats are tied securely along the riverbank. Blacksmiths extinguish their fires. Potters cover their finished work. Merchants close heavy wooden shutters over their shops. Even the palace grows quieter. Royal guards continue their watch beneath the stars while servants dim the lamps inside the great halls. The king may still be awake, discussing matters of the empire. But outside the palace walls, ordinary people are already finding peace after another honest day's work. You begin walking back toward the Ishtar Gate. The same road that welcomed you this morning now feels strangely familiar. Hours ago, you entered Babylon as a curious visitor. Now, it almost feels as though you are leaving friends behind. The baker who offered warm bread, the children laughing in the marketplace, the patient potter shaping clay, the devoted priest climbing the temple steps, the father embracing his children after work. None of them know your name, yet somehow they have become unforgettable. You stop one final time and turn toward the city. The blue walls glow softly beneath the moonlight. The temple rises silently above every rooftop. The Euphrates continues its endless journey, just as it has for thousands of years. Babylon breathes peacefully beneath the stars. You know that centuries from now, wars, time, floods, and changing empires will slowly erase much of what you have seen today. Great walls will crumble. Palaces will fall into silence. Temples will become ruins buried beneath the earth. The voices filling these streets tonight will one day fade into history. And yet, the people themselves will never truly disappear. Their ideas, discoveries, stories, and dreams will continue to travel across generations. Pieces of Babylon will survive in the cities we build, the laws we write, the stories we tell, and the hope that every civilization leaves something meaningful behind. As you take your final steps away from the Great Gate, you look back one last time. The city stands quietly beneath a sky overflowing with stars. For a heartbeat, everything is still. Then the ancient streets disappear into darkness. Your remarkable day has come to an end. But the memory of Babylon will stay with you forever. The first light of a new dawn begins to appear far beyond the eastern horizon. You have walked through an entire day in Babylon. You have stood beneath its magnificent gates, shared bread with strangers, heard children laugh in hidden courtyards, watched craftsmen shape beauty from clay and bronze, climbed sacred temples that reached toward the heavens, stood inside the palace where an empire was guided, and ended the day beneath a sky filled with stars. Now, as the city slowly prepares for another sunrise, you pause one last time beside the Euphrates River. The water continues its endless journey, just as it did yesterday, just as it will tomorrow. Empires rise, empires fall. But rivers, remember, they carry the echoes of every generation that has ever lived along their banks. You imagine the countless people who walked these same streets before you. The little boy chasing his puppy through the marketplace. The young apprentice learning to write his first cuneiform symbols. The farmer who patiently tended his fields. The grandmother who smiled as her grandchildren played in the courtyard. The musician whose gentle melody drifted through the evening gardens. None of them believed they were making history. They were simply living their lives. That may be the greatest lesson Babylon leaves behind. History is not created only by kings. It is created by ordinary people waking before sunrise, working with honest hands, caring for their families, helping their neighbors, dreaming of a better tomorrow. Those quiet moments become the foundation upon which every great civilization is built. As the sky brightens, birds begin their morning songs once again. The city slowly awakens. Wooden doors open. Smoke rises from ovens. Merchants prepare their stalls. The familiar rhythm of life begins all over again. For Babylon, today is not a special day. It is simply another morning. And perhaps that is what makes it so extraordinary. Because greatness is not found only in moments of triumph. It is found in ordinary days lived with purpose. You take one final look across the skyline. The temple still reaches toward the heavens. The palace still stands with quiet confidence. The Ishtar Gate still welcomes travelers from distant lands. Everything appears timeless, yet you know the future. Centuries from now, powerful armies will arrive. The voices filling these streets will slowly fade. Wind and sand will cover magnificent buildings. Time will patiently reclaim what humanity once believed could last forever. But even as stone crumbles, memory survives. Archaeologists will uncover forgotten bricks. Scholars will patiently translate clay tablets. Historians will piece together fragments of a civilization that refused to be forgotten. And people, thousands of years later, people like you, will still speak the name Babylon with wonder. Not because it was perfect, but because it dared to dream beyond the limits of its age. It transformed mud and water into one of the greatest cities the world had ever seen. It connected distant cultures through trade. It preserved knowledge upon humble clay tablets. It proved that imagination, determination, and cooperation can build something that echoes across millennia. The morning breeze gently brushes past your face. You close your eyes one final time. When you open them again, the sounds of Babylon slowly disappear. The marketplace falls silent. The temple bells fade into memory. The river becomes distant. The ancient city gently slips away, leaving behind only gratitude. Gratitude for the people who came before us, for the stories they left behind, and for the reminder that every ordinary day we live today may one day become history for someone else. Thank you for walking through ancient Babylon. Until our paths cross again, may history continue to whisper its timeless stories into your heart. Good night.